Saudi Aramco's CEO called it a historic day when last month the world's largest oil-producing firm announced its listing on Riyadh's Tadawul exchange. On Thursday, shares will be priced below the much-hyped $2 trillion price the Saudis wanted. But some asset managers say even at the lower price, the company's overvalued. Analysts say there's been tension between the Saudi government's valuation ambitions and what Western investors are willing to pay.
The initial estimates that were given by the Saudi leadership hasn't been proven yet. And so that's what I mean by taking the feedback, going back and seeing if they can make those numbers work or not. Saudi
Arabia derives most of its money from Aramco oil exports and says it will use the income from its public listing to diversify its economy. But a recent drone attack on two of its facilities, which Houthi rebels in Yemen said they carried out, took out more than half of the kingdom's oil production and caused major concern among international investors. So far, the Aramco stock listing is only available for Saudis and nationals in the Arab states of the GCC, and that too will be capped by the Tadawul exchange. Saudi Aramco's international listing was the crown jewel of Prince Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2030, an ambitious project to take Saudi Arabia into the future without an over-reliance on oil. But since he announced it in 2017, the IPO, or the initial public offering, was delayed several times. And transparency concerns, a murky anti-corruption drive against wealthy businesses, the killing of Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, and other factors have not been helpful to achieving that vision. So far, Saudi Aramco has refrained from listing on an international stock exchange. The company also cancelled a roadshow intended to attract Western and Asian investors. But there's still set to be interest from Russian and Chinese investors. At the meeting of the oil producers bloc OPEC, it's likely that output cuts will remain in place to keep oil prices steady.
Nowadays, as the economy's evolved and new discoveries have been set up on the map across the world, we have a new alliance, as we can call it, of OPEC and OPEC Plus, that includes some of the countries that everyone knows, like Russia, for example. And of course, the market share, if OPEC or OPEC Plus controlling their own production, so limiting their volumes and allowing some other nations to grow production, of course that in some way limits their market share.
For a successful Aramco IPO, the Saudis will need a steadier and higher oil price. Although there is interest from local and GCC investors, the IPO will fall well short of the $100 billion it was intended to raise, and the Saudis won't be able to get the $2 trillion valuation that they desired. Osama bin Javaid, Jazeera, Vienna.